Okay. It's the Bright Queen, Queen Sensitivity, Jabria. Let me move this closer so you won't be staring at the crease between my thighs. Um, and I have messages from the Swan. I've been feeling like a lot of like anger, and I'm like, okay, like how can I help transmute this? Because it keeps coming up over and over. So I'm like, one of the ways I transmute things is through singing, through like being still and trying to ask like my soul, like what's going on. I did that, I did the singing. Another way I do it is by sharing a message. So here I am sharing a message. I keep seeing swans. I keep seeing swans. I keep seeing owls, particularly white owls or like light brown owls. And I keep seeing butterflies, specifically black butterflies, but orange ones and yellow ones as well. But like I've been seeing like big black butterflies. And so all of these I feel like had to do with like transformation, messages coming through from the higher realms, however you want to put it. And also I feel like romance. So something that's really been bothering me is my skin. I feel like I had gotten my skin to like a good point, and like now it's like I feel like it's dry and like there's like acne marks, and like it's porous. And a friend of mine messaged me checking on me. She's so sweet, and I checked on her. Thank you for the like. And she was like, she was experiencing like hormonal imbalances that were messing with her skin. And in one of my videos that I did, I believe it was the pick a card, I mentioned like this pimple on my chest and how I was like, it's probably hormonal imbalances. And so I feel like that's one of the things to do with like the swan, because you know the swan, that story with like the ugly duckling, like transforming, like you're gonna look different, a little funky at the beginning, and then by the end you'll be a swan. So something very interesting. My guides have been very loud. I'm being guided to say that this will be like a tarot and oracle reading, but for now I'm guided to share that last weekend I kept, or like the whole week before, I kept hearing like Cheesecake Factory like pop in my head. Cheesecake Factory, Cheesecake Factory. Mind you, I am allergic to dairy. And so I was like, am I supposed to like go risk my life to get a cheesecake? I was like, I don't know, maybe I will. And so Saturday, I woke up with like a jolt because my guides were like, wake up, wake up. And so I woke up and I was like, okay, I'm gonna shower and stuff, and you'll just tell me where to go. And they were like, go to the Cheesecake Factory. It's like, I guess I'm getting a cheesecake. I was like, I'll just get some Pepto-Bismol. And so anyways, I go downstairs and my stepdad's there, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go out like to the mall. I just say the mall because I don't want people to know I'm making bad decisions. And he's like, oh, you're going to the mall? Like, which mall are you going to? And I was like, the Woodlands. And he was like, oh, okay. Like, do you mind like picking up your mom's rings from the mall? They put them there to get clean, like her wedding rings. And I was like, okay. And so I go to the mall and I go to get the wedding rings, and I get the cheesecake afterwards. And I come home and I'm hearing, I skipped a part. Hold on, I don't know if y'all heard the little click. They make a lot of little click noises. I forgot a part. While I was walking into the mall, I'm sure a lot of people watching don't know about the Woodlands Mall, but the Woodlands Mall, from like the front entrance, as I call it, there's like a moat. There's like a stream, I'm gonna call it a moat, around the whole mall, like where they do the little ferry, the boat rides and stuff. And they had the little swan, little paddle things, and those are usually like down further, but I guess sometimes they've been at the front, but there was only like one set of swans that were like facing each other. I took a picture, I'm gonna share it, but there was only one set of the paddle boats that were facing each other. So I got to the mall, that's like the first thing I saw. And I went to get the rings, like I said, and I got the cheesecake. And when I got back home, I saw my cousin's car was at our house. And my intuition was like, if he's wearing red, like give him the cheesecake. Cause I saw like this version of reality where he was wearing like a red shirt or something. And sometimes with my like gifts and like seeing things like in the present moment, it can be like I'll see a slightly different like reality. So I saw him wearing like a red shirt, but they were like, if he's wearing like something red, like the cheesecake is for him. I get in the house and I peep around the little corner, and my cousin, sure enough, he's wearing red shorts. And so I was like, what was the point? Like, why did you keep, I'm talking to my guides now, I'm like, why did you keep on telling me to go to cheesecake? And they were like, you didn't go to the mall to go to Cheesecake Factory. You went to the mall to get the rings. Like, you went there to pick up the rings. Because when I picked them up, the lady, of course, she was like, are these yours? Like, do you want to try them on? And I was like, those ain't mine, lady. Them's my mother's. So anyways, there's like this message of like I said, like romance, union, with these swans. So that's what we're gonna focus on today, because I feel like a bit of the anger is like coming from this source. So we're gonna use this oracle deck. This is the Starseed Oracle deck. It is by Rebecca Campbell and Danielle Noel. There's like this little mosquito in here. So the bugs too have been very active. I remember around the time when I was about to like journey on a romance and I didn't know it yet, I kept seeing like a lot of bugs would come around. They would like be by my rearview mirror. They'd like be on my windshield. And that's been happening. It's been different types of bugs than last time, but they've been around. I think it's also because like they can like pick up on your energy. And like my friend told me the other day, he was like, people who have really, it was yesterday, he was like, people who have really like attractive energy, they're like a stranger to no one. Like whenever people meet people with attractive energy, they're always like, I know you. And I feel like it's the same with these bugs. And also like the cat, he's not in here now, but he was like all up on me earlier. I was like, why are you in here? Like, you don't even like me like that. He loves me, but like, but yeah, even just now when I got home, he was like, meow, 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 meow. So we have lifting the veil, questioning everything, anything unaligned must go. Thank you so much for the likes. This person, Muhammad, says, can I chat with you on WhatsApp? I don't have WhatsApp, but you're more than welcome to leave a comment, and I do have an email address, and it's in the description of like most of my videos, not in the description of this one yet though. But what's interestingly enough, I'll just say I know somebody with that name, and apparently like the first name of the person with that name means swan in some East Asian language, I'm pretty sure. Because I was just watching like a swan meaning video and they said a name and I was like, I know that name. I know that name. And they were like, it means swan. And I was like, holy shit, like these things have been popping up. So one of the things I mentioned was transformation. And this isn't a card talking about transformation. I don't know what it is. Anything unaligned must go. So I feel like this is a part of the reason why I feel like this anger in my chest, like this anger in my chest, is because like it's kicking out everything that no longer aligns to this new, for lack of better terms, timeline, this new portal that we've gone through. Thank y'all for the hearts. For some reason, I'm getting this very specific memory. What was her name again? What's her name? It's not Candace. What's her name? It's not Tracy. I can't remember her name. I think it started with a T. Anyways, there was this woman. I feel like the name is important. I can't remember her name. But when I was a kid, we lived in this big yellow house. I don't think it was all that big, but I was like 3, so it was huge. This huge yellow house. And there was this girl that like lived down the street, and I remember like she would come down sometimes. She was way older than me, probably like 12 or something, but I thought she was so old at the time. And we moved from the house, and I never saw her again until one random day in a Family Dollar. We saw her again, and she had like gone to the military and all these things, and like she was like so like cool and established. So there's something there. If only I could remember her name, we'd be set to go. But maybe that's important for someone, like seeing someone you haven't seen since childhood again. Okay, we're gonna move on. Anything else I'm meant to know? All I keep hearing is Candace, and I'm like, her name was not Candace. It's not Candace. The courageous peony, multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. Ooh, this one is very beautiful. So I feel like this goes like right in like alignment with that whole idea of the swan, like letting yourself be seen. And I feel like that's also like I said, this transformational energy, this like romantic energy, all of it is connected, all of it goes hand in hand. Somebody says Thailand here, somebody's from Thailand, and it has like these 2 hands, these 2 like emoji hands. So hand in hand. But these things go hand in hand. It's like letting yourself be seen for the sake of this like transformation, but also like letting yourself be seen for the sake of this like romantic union, which is very, very important. I'm seeing in my mind like that scene in Nanny McPhee where the nanny like transforms, like she transforms like itty bitty bit throughout the movie, and then at the end she has a huge transformation from like the black uniform to the white, completely white. And one of my favorite things about Nanny McPhee, the movie, was that quote where she was like, when you need me but don't want me, I will stay. But when you want me but no longer need me, then I have to go. And like that's the message now. Like these like character traits, these personality traits, these wounds, these patterns that you like consider to be like a part of you, they were just tools, walls, mechanisms that you used when you needed them but didn't want them. And now like you're wanting them but you no longer need them. Like you want them out of habit but you no longer need them. And I'm kind of being like called to disclose like a personal example. Yeah, I feel like it's fine. But basically tonight I went to the movies with a friend, and it was a friend that I'd like been like more like intimate and close to in the past. And I was like, this is gonna be completely like platonic, and I made sure it stayed that way. Like the whole movie time, which was 3 hours, which I didn't know it was gonna be a 3-hour long movie. I feel like that was like a challenge from my guides to make sure I was sure. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm sure. Hell yeah, I'm sure. And so like I stayed like 10 toes down. about my standards and what I'm accepting now. And I feel like this person, I feel like he's a very good example of like, I met him at a time of like need, like I needed him in my life. Um, and so he was there, and like I no longer need him. Like, and so it's okay if he like moves on, like out of my life, or like at least the very least like becomes like very, very different to the way our relationship kind of worked out at the beginning. I'm also seeing here at the bottom of the deck, micromanaging the universe. I feel like this is also where the frustration is coming from. Because, like, for example, right now, I'm hearing a ringing in my ear. And both of them, I didn't want to go on live because I feel like a lot of people, there can be a lot of weird energies and interference with going on live. And also, like, it's like, I don't know, awkward. It's not the time I usually go on live. I usually don't go on live in my room. Like, it's just all these reasons not to do it this way. But I kept hearing, like, you need to do this live. It needs to be live. So, like, I could have saved myself, like, those little back and forths with myself and my guides or my intuition, my higher self's, like, guidance, and just, like, surrendered to it immediately and just gone with it. And I feel like that's what you need to do. I keep getting a lot of messages. I'm seeing that movie, Monster-in-Law, with Jane Fonda, and I remember like the the venomous way in which Jane Fonda's character would kind of like try every tactic in the book to get rid of Jennifer Lopez's character and stop her from marrying her son. And it's like, if she would have just like listened to like the universe's way, the flow of life, like if she would have just gone with it, like she could have saved herself like all that trauma and arrived like where she wanted to arrive, because her ultimate goal was obviously like to have her son be protected, safe, and loved. But she wasn't in a position with like her previously established, like I said, defense mechanisms, character traits, patterns, what have you. Like it was time for those to go, but she was still holding on to those traits. If she would have just like surrendered them, gone with the flow, she would have ended up at her destination either way, with the fight and without the fight. But like without the fight, it would have been like a much smoother ride. And that's something that's very emphasized here, because underneath that we have falling in my arms, right? It says surrender, holding the opposites extremes of life. This is major, 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 major change that is happening collectively. Earlier, I had like this like weird feeling when I was like sitting outside this restaurant, and it felt like I felt when I was 10 years old and a tornado was about to come destroy my house, and like my family, like they were all just like so nonchalant about the whole thing, because we've gotten tornado warnings before. But me being psychic, even at that age, I was like, I don't know, I was like, I think this one's gonna actually like happen. And so I was telling my family, I was like, we need to get downstairs, like we need to get downstairs in the closet, like we need to like prepare, we need to get ready. And they were like, ha ha ha, playing cards, like eating like hamburgers. They were grilling hamburgers on a griddle. I never forget that, it's so vivid in my mind. And so I went downstairs and I wrote it out, and I drew like what would happen on this white paper. Lo and behold, we did experience a tornado and our house was destroyed. And that obviously created a major shift in my life. Like it was like the version of my life where like we stayed at that house, and then another one where we left and I'm here. That's what I felt like today. Like I could feel this tremendous shift take place, and everybody was like walking around like nothing had changed. They were like, la 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 la, like people were getting out of their cars, and I'm just like, I was like holding on for dear life. It was literally like a Freaky Friday moment, like where the building shakes and stuff like that. Like I feel like the world was shaking a bit, and I was like, I've been like this ever since, like this like kind of tilted type of feeling. I've been having a lot of vertigo. I was very nauseous. I almost threw up actually when I was sitting there. So we are going to move on. I think, do you want to do this? I'm hearing the song Arcadia by Lana Del Rey. Arcadia. There's still like this ringing sound, like it's very faint now, but it's with my ears. And I feel like it's someone trying to like get a message to someone, like trying to deliver a message, and it's like it's not going through. Like I'm seeing someone like in like snow gear. They're like in snow gear in this puffy coat, and like they're trying to send a message, but they can't because like I don't know, there could be a snowstorm or like the signal's just crap. This is the kitty cat I was talking about. It's like they're trying to get a message across and they can't get it out like in time, or it just won't send. Like there's something like that, like something with communication, or like someone's been wanting, like with me clearing my throat, someone's been wanting to like have some sort of conversation or get something out, but like something comes up, like there's a family emergency, or they have to go and help somebody with something, or like it could even be a stranger, where like a stranger, like they need to help them change a tire, or like they need to help them like get to a safe place. Like it's like, and it's a long thing, like it ends up taking like hours, days, like it's taking a long time. So what we'll do, I'm kind of shivering now because the air is on, so if somebody's cold. Now let's get that message. What is the message that wants to be delivered? Yeah, I'm feeling like a bit irritated, like, and I feel like the vertigo's back. The vertigo's back. Yeah, because even now, it's usually a card will like have come out by now, but it's like hidden. So one of the rules of this game is like, if it's not like eagerly presenting itself, like on one hand you can think of it as like there's some sort of blockage, or you can view it as divine timing. But of course we make our own like divine time in a lot of aspects. There's a bit of both in that case. I feel like before we flip over these cards, because I haven't seen them yet, Jessica Chasen says, can I have my reading? What do you mean you're reading? Did I promise you one? But if you want one from me, I do them. I think I recently mentioned Jessica Alba in my pick a card that I did the other day. So maybe that's a reading for you to check out, Jessica. I think it's pile 3. Okay, so Fawahodie is this symbol here, Fawahodie, pretty sure. It's the alphabetic symbol for F in the in African Adinkra symbols, and it means freedom. I made this deck myself. It's made of major arcana. This one. Thank you. It's very sweet of you. So we have the other devil here. It says destined ending, don't force divine protection. What was I just saying about divine timing? I just said this about divine timing. Like if the message is like not coming out, like if they can't send it or things keep coming up, it's a reason why. This keeps falling to show the sun card. It says cute, flirt, cheeky, wink. what I'm feeling is like, just like how I was kind of like tested tonight with the movie theater sort of thing. This shit keeps dropping. I'm just gonna sit here. This other person who's like having trouble like finding the space or getting some message out that they want to get out, they need to be tested as well. Like maybe their test is like commitment. Like, is this something like you really, really want to say? And because if you really want to say something, you will say it. Like you will go out of your way to make sure this message gets delivered, even if you have to like send it by owl, right? And so like I feel like their soul, their higher self is kind of like testing them, like, do you really gonna like commit to this person and really like mean what you say? I feel like that's why. So we'll flip over this first Rumi Oracle deck. Let me show, like, it's by Alana Fairchild, because I don't feel like typing this shit in the description. We have Blessings of Al Hakim, number 40. So obviously this card foretells blessings. The meaning of Hakim, I'm pretty sure it's like king or prince or something in some language, but it always reminds me of Hakim from Empire, and how he was like very talented, but he was a novice. He was a page. He was very kind of like immature, but he was in this place of like wealth from his dad, like, or his mom, his parents. Like he had wealth from his parents. He came from like this privileged place of like almost nepotism that could be relevant for somebody. And he had the talent, but like he was very like cocky, very like arrogant with it. And so I feel like that's like a part of the communication delay. It's like whoever this person is, it's like having these blockages and delays with like giving a message to someone. It's like in the past, they're saying like, you have like abused your privilege. Maybe this person is like beautiful, like Hakim, very handsome, like attractive, not to me, but you can tell in general he's kind of like an attractive guy, and like he was very good with the ladies. And so it's like in the past he's like abused that. He's abused like his charm, his physique, in order to manipulate people, in order to kind of like come in, pop in, get what he wants and leaves out, you know? And a part of it is like you, or whoever the message is being delivered to, your higher self, your guides, your ancestors, your peoples are also being protective of you by, and like also like you yourself, like you've been standing your ground, you've already been tested, you've passed with flying colors again and again. So your whole field does not allow bullshit. Like your whole field is not allowing any bullshit. So whoever comes towards you has to come correct. And so, like I said, this person has like this past of kind of like doing this, like not being fully committed when going into something. And so this delay, these setbacks with them communicating this confession or commitment or proposal, it'll be different for everybody, is to make sure that they really like are standing on business. I'm seeing Barbados, if I'm not mispronouncing that, Barbados. I'm pretty sure it's Barbados, from the show C, who's played by the actor Jason Momoa. That's one of my favorite shows. And like he's like a father, like he's a father in every sense of the word. He's very protective of his kids, and he backs it up with consistent, persistent, thorough, effective action. And that's what this person is being tasked to doing. Yeah, bada bing, judgment card. In a pickle. Oh my God, arrogance. Oh my God, who knew that I'm psychic? Not good enough. Yeah. What's it? It's a Jay-Z line where he's like, some of y'all can make her with the bag, I had to change the weather. Like, he was basically saying like for his wife, after he like had his affair, like some men, like when they come back to like get their, I don't know, their wives back, or to do like something nice after cheating, they like get them a purse, like a nice expensive purse, like a Birkin bag. And he's like, I changed the weather. Like he moved the whole family west, but it's whatever. Like he changed his whole life. And it connects back to that transformation with the swan that I was talking about earlier. So like I said, when I saw those two swans at the mall, the little paddle boats, it was two of them facing each other. And so it's like, not only are you, Katie's getting the zoomies. So if you hear stuff, that's him getting the zoomies. Not only are you the person receiving the message, whoever that is going through a transformation, also this person is going through a transformation on their end. So they might be having hormonal issues as well. But yeah, they're definitely like being like cured of that arrogance from before. Let me get some water. I keep hearing that song over and over. Arcadia. All right, the other oracle card we have is the impossible made possible. So with all of that, with all the delays and stuff, this is still gonna be possible. Like, spoiler alert, like it's all gonna be great. Well, I was gonna say great, swell, and well in one go. Grell, it'll be swell, it'll be well. I'm feeling very like bubbly and kind of like blushy here. And it's reminding me of something I was gonna say earlier, was that the actress who plays Nanny McPhee, I believe her name is maybe Elizabeth, also plays the divination professor in Harry Potter. And she was like a mockery. Even in the wizarding world, like they mocked this type of stuff. They mocked divination. But anyways, in the 5th movie of the Harry Potter series, or the 5th book, she gets sacked, as they say. And there's this mean lady that's like trying to kick her off the property. But Dumbledore swoops in at the last minute, and he's like, while you may have the power to fire her, you do not, however, have the power to remove her from these grounds. That power, I'm afraid, remains in the hands of the headmaster. And like, that's me. And then like that's, I don't know if that's a message that I'm getting from this card. Like, it's basically like spirit, source, God, you, your highest self, honestly, is saying like, while like your circumstances or however it looks may have the power to like fire you or push you around or, you know, do whatever it does, the ultimate power to remove you from like this, like what you're meant for, like this connection or this transformation, this beautiful, beautiful life remains with spirit, with source, with God. That is something that cannot be, like, that power remains with them. That's what I'm getting from this card, the impossible made possible. Like, it's gonna be made possible. I'm hearing like, as long as you like hold up your end of the bargain, like you're living in integrity and alignment with like your soul, with love, like facing your fears, doing the right thing in every moment, because it'll be different in every moment, like putting your best foot forward. You don't have to be perfect, but like trying your best, doing your best, making the changes. This is going to align for you, and it is. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this reading. The cards we have here, yep, look at that. The other Justice card, Justice. I love pronouncing it in the French way. And then we have the High Priestess. So the High Priestess card always like reminds me of like something divine. Like it's a divine union. It's divinely ordained. It's like all throughout Harry Potter, like people doubt Harry, but like the only way that people or the student body believed what Harry said is if somebody brought up the fact that Dumbledore believes him. Like that was like his credit. Like Dumbledore said he believes him. Dumbledore said it was okay. Like Dumbledore vouched for Harry Potter, and like whatever he said was basically like automatically known as like truth. And that's how I take this High Priestess card. Like if the High Priestess card comes up in a reading in particular to do with like romanticism or some sort of like divine destined connection, like the High Priestess is like the Dumbledore. Like Dumbledore said it was okay. Dumbledore said it was going to be so it's going to be so. I keep bringing him up, and also just like British people in general. So perhaps like that's important to some people. Like there's a connection there with like England or Europe. You have something to say? Kitty, you got something to say? Okay. And then the Justice card, it says caught up in past scenarios, drama, needing to calm down. So if you find yourself kind of like how I am in this state of like fluctuating, like I go from like super like calm and like surrender to like what is going on? I feel dizzy. I have a headache. What's popping? Like what's going off? They're saying to like just continue to like get back to that place of trust. Go back to justice is being served. This is divinely like ordained. Like this is all working out for me. Like get back to that place every single time. Because like as you shift, as you go through this transformation, you want to keep like a tunnel vision. You want to keep your eyes on the prize, on the butterfly that you are becoming. Okay, so today I'm gonna do something a little bit different since I'm being more personal today. I usually get like a message from a book, but today I was guided to get a message from one of my many diaries. Fun fact about me, in every aspect of my life, I have to be different from other people. I can't stand like doing something how everybody else does it. So when I started writing in diaries, I wrote in poems, so it's like a code word. So only I would know who I was writing about and what exactly I was writing about. So in that sense, it's still not that personal. But this one says the best things in life aren't things. And so, like I said before, when I mentioned Hakeem and his like wealth and abundance, so maybe there's some sort of like masculine here that's like being tested with like their pride in terms of like their pockets, like their financial status. The other day I had mentioned Tiana Taylor because I was extremely like drawn to this video of her, and in it she was talking about her divorce from her ex-husband, and I saw like little clips thereafter of her being interviewed at the Breakfast Club, and she was saying how people were talking about how after the divorce she was bringing in more money than he was, and how she ended up having like to pay for things like he didn't pay for, but basically like she had like more money than him, and like that was like something that like you could tell like was hurting her ex-husband's pride. So there's a masculine. Again, masculine means energy, has nothing to do with gender, but there's an energy here of like being tested financially, like your pride being kind of like destroyed, crumbled, or buttons poked at your pride concerning your financial state, because this cover materialism. There's this little piece here, these things like trying to slide out. I'm about to see what they are. I'm a very mysterious girl. I'm a very interesting person. I always have been. So here we have one of the letters. So this is how strange I am and how cool. When I was in high school, I thought it was gonna be like High School Musical. I really did. I expected it to be this very like romantic kind of thing, and it wasn't. I was very disappointed, and so I decided to take matters into my own hand and romanticize my own life. So I wrote myself, I think about 10 or 11 letters, and I gave them to my friends, and I told them to randomly give them back to me. And they did. And this is letter 2, and I think I will be reading that one. So 2 again, like the 2 swans, that divine union, that whole shebang. Let's see what I wrote to myself. It's pretty long. Well, not that long. It's just 1 page. Okay. Innocence is for the guilty because the innocent don't know what they've done. They don't know when they pull the trigger that is about to occur. The innocent open their eyes so wide that they can't see at all. The innocent walk across streets without looking both ways. The guilty have been hit by cars. The guilty hardly opened their eyes. They don't want to see. They have seen enough. The guilty are the victims and by default, the true murderers. I am guilty. I am guilty because I told myself that I wasn't the monster and therefore became one by marking everything that I didn't understand as demonic. I am the monster because I kept the knife in my hands and kept my eyes closed. I did not think. Thinking was for the brave. I just swung on any and everything near me. But this life we're living in, this real true life, the one where you smile and cry, it doesn't give a shit about whether you're innocent or guilty. And this is what we don't know. This is what we don't know. This is what we must know, because it doesn't matter if you're looking both ways when you're crossing the street, and it doesn't matter if you're holding mother's hand. It doesn't matter if your eyes are open or if they're shut, because the bottom line is you're going to get hit by a bus. That's so funny. So you can kind of see my state of mind when I was in high school. But yeah, I don't know, it kind of reminded me of like Regina George. But I heard a lot in that about like, it's called polarization, like kind of like polarization, kind of, what's it called? Like creating these like separate spaces. Like this is good and this is bad. These are all the good things and these are all the bad things. And I feel like what this union, this transformation is insisting upon, if anything, is getting rid of like this black and white kind of perspective on things and embracing the sacred wholeness that is love. And so I have this picture of one of my friends that I drew. It's not very good, but her name was T, so that might be important. Oh my gosh, Jabria, what was I thinking? What else do we have here? I think another poem that I wrote. I'm very poetic, couldn't you tell? I don't know if I'll read this one. Another sad poem. It's so funny. I was telling my friend, because someone here said red Snicker bar, hi babe. One of my friends calls me babe. I love that. And I was telling him yesterday about how like sad I was. Like I used to be very, very sad. I had very sad thoughts. I wrote very sad poems and listened to very sad songs and took long, sad walks and sat sadly in my car and sadly at restaurants by myself. And I was saying how like people wouldn't think that, like looking at me now, like you'd never think that, but I used to. That was my life. Like I had friends, but I made sure to keep them distant. And so I feel like that's also something like you should be pat yourself on the back because of like the growth and the transformations. transformations that you've already made. And lo and behold, one of my friends, I wrote her a letter. It might be in here. Yeah, I wrote her one of my letters. She was one of the friends I gave one of my letters to. And I think in the one I gave her, I was talking about how I was in my car one day and I had like a joke and I looked to my side and there was no one there to tell it to. It was in the letter I gave for her, and she wrote me this back. So I'm gonna read it. These are not my words. These are Mad Dog's words. That's what I used to call her. So it says February 22nd, 2017. So there you go. Again, angel number 222. Divine Union. 12:16 a.m. Tuesday, technically Wednesday morning night. Reason, because you inspired me. Dear Jabria, forgive me for being selfish, but I just read a piece of your soul and you have rendered me so damn speechless that you inspired me to write this even though we have school in the morning. There's so much I want to say, and I know my flow of words might not flow right, but please bear with me. Firstly, I wanted to address this irony we call life. So let me tell you about my ache. Long story short, I had feelings for blah, blah, blah. My ache, mind you, it was nothing compared to my weight, it's a whole thing we had going, these words. But as soon as I felt that ache, I suppressed the living hell out of that ache. Now, mind you, these feelings popped around after I cried about my weight because he was there when I needed it. For fast forward to junior, senior year, he had a girlfriend. Guess what? Her fucking name is Maddie, spelled the exact same way. Maybe I should start going by Elaine. That's so funny because I eventually had a close friend named Elaine. Now to the more important stuff. Jabria fucking Bennett. I've read some of your writing to know by now that you were born to be a writer, but never have I ever read something quite as quintessent, possibly more than even Sarah J. Maas. Believe me. But most of all, I want to thank you. I won't go into detail because I don't know when I'll hand this back to you and I have something else I want to give you, but I want you to know that when you look beside you and you feel lonely, just turn your head a bit more to look behind you where Beverly is talking about Voltron and making puns, behind you where Sevilla is eating Pop-Tarts, behind you where I'm reading because I never do my work, behind you where there's still the iris, which is also our little code shit. It may not mean much, but it means something. I believe one day, somewhere out there, there's something greater than weights, scars, and aches. Whatever it is, your scar or whatever he is now will look back and think about the great what if. I know he will because we all do. Lastly, I wanted to say I'm happy you found some of your truths. If there's anyone who deserves it, it's you. XOXO, Madeline Elaine. P.S. There's more. And she wrote this quote from our favorite author, who's still my favorite author to this day. We all bear scars. Mine just happened to be more visible than most. So, thank you for listening to me say all this. I feel like that was very healing for me, and that's like what I wanted this to be about transmuting energies. But I feel like all of this is just kind of like to say like how loved you are. And right now, as we're transforming and it's like these up downs, it might be a great time to like take inventory, as Bam Heck TV loves to say, and to like go into these little crevices of these little different aspects of your life. Could be high school, could be college, could be your relationship with your siblings, or little jokes you used to have with your cousins, or I don't know, maybe just check around your space where you live and find things that you haven't picked up in a while, just to like admire yourself and release. This was very healing for me. That's very sweet. More poems. I don't know what that is. Oh my gosh. I had a crush on one of my teachers and I called him the polar bear prince. This is funny. And this is another letter that I wrote to myself, gave to a friend, and give back to me. This one is number 4. So far we've had the letter number 2 and letter number 4. And this one is a, I think it's just like my schedule. Yeah, just my schedule that I wrote it on. Yes, yes. I think I kind of want to read it. My schedule was, I had food tech and safety, life nutrition and wellness, English 4 advanced placement, aquatic science, art 4 drawing advanced placement, sociology, early release, and Tiger Den. I don't know, I feel like that's important. Like maybe, like I was saying earlier, like somebody from your childhood, like coming back around now, like you see them again, and like this schedule, it's like somebody that was like on your schedule and like they're about to come, I don't know, like there's like a return or something about it was important. Like could it be like literally like your schedule when you were in school, or it could be like your schedule like from a job or something where you would see this person like regularly. Or maybe for some people like this isn't like a person and like you're just transitioning solely just into like a new career or something like that. So maybe something that like you used to be really passionate about that was on your schedule is like they're trying to get your attention, like to return to that. Because one of the things that I've been feeling reading this stuff is like I'm a fucking writer, like I'm really good at writing, and it's because I practice so much. I have like 12 of these in my little stack of journals, and like this isn't even inclusive of the notes I have on my phone. I have thousands of poems on my phone. Yeah. Okay, I think I'll read this, and I feel like this one is more like a message from an admirer. And this could be any kind of admirer. This could be a grandma, could be an uncle, could be a kid, could be a friend, could be a lover, could be a pet. But I feel like this is like somebody who admires you. Excuse me. So it says, her voice sounds like melted honey, drifting soft and slow and rough and in a hurry. She is undefined in every aspect of life, but if you can understand her, you can understand the world. Everything about her is handwritten, from her hair that goes up like smoke to her toes that hit the ground with something to say. She always has something to say, and you do good to listen, because while she isn't always right, her words are always true. She speaks the truth like there is no other way to speak. She will tell you that she lies, and when she lies, she murders a piece of her soul to even the score. She is a hopeless romantic in the most hopeful way. Who she is looking for cannot be found because who she is looking for is not solid. Who she is looking for is like the air she breathes and like the bare ground beneath her feet. She is a mystery to many, but that is only because they believe that they know her. No one can know her. She is undefined. Her name isn't written in any dictionary. Not even she can know her. But there are very few people who understand her. And if you can understand her, you can understand the universe. Whew, I just felt like like a buzz from that, reading that. How sweet! How sweet, darling. So, oh my gosh. I just open this up. It says, "You are so beautiful, boy." But I feel like the last thing I kind of want to say from like this whole little epic that I just took y'all on is I always like knew I was special, but I like never took myself seriously. I'm still working to take myself seriously, like the work that I do, like valuing it properly. Um, and this is one of the ways where like this is like how I knew like to trust myself more. But basically, with one of my last diaries or journals that I had in high school, I used to sit by my friend who I called Animation, and she called me Jelly Bean. And I would like write like a little poem, and I'd like ask her to write a little poem in there to finish it. And like one day she wrote like one out like fully, and I kept it in my journal. And after we graduated from school, she died in her sleep, and I was able to like give that poem to her family, and they ended up putting it like on her obituary, and like her mom like really appreciated that. And it's like if I had been like being weird and like being super creative and like just being myself, then like they wouldn't have had that piece of her to share. um which, speaking of, I have found throughout my life so far that a lot of the times I'll come into contact with people like before they die, which sounds so sad, but please don't like take it as that. But I have noticed that like I'll like be like around somebody, and then like I'll find out like a month later, 2 weeks later, like they just randomly died like in a quick way that was like very unexpected. And I think it's because like of like who I am. There's a lot of words for who I am, but for lack of better terms, I'll just say like an earth angel. That vibration, the codes that I carry with me, I feel like, I don't know, there's like some sort of exchange that happens. And so I feel like because I'm bringing this up, like that's also important. Um, like you have so many gifts, and some of them have been like right under your nose, like right in front of your face, but like you've yet to really like dive into them and acknowledge them and like take the time to like honor that about yourself. Because if you think about it, that's a very tough gift to have, is that like you're kind of like an usherer, you know, to return home, to leave from here. That's like a tough kind of like gig to have. So like acknowledge yourself, value yourself, go easy on yourself, and take inventory. I think I'm gonna get one last message, and then we'll be good to go. There's like it's still this ringing sound. It's okay. I'm gonna go eat some soup and some ramen, and maybe watch Legally Blonde, because I can. I'm feeling this one, honestly. We have The Courage of Your Love. Oh my gosh. This is why. This isn't even supposed to be in here. Why? What you doing in this deck? This is the wrong deck. I guess that's a sign that we're supposed to check this one out. So this one is from this deck. It's kind of scary. And it's card 32. It's in the wrong box. Oh my gosh, the noise. Please be quiet. Hold on. Let me like quiet. Okay. I just heard a message. So sometimes when like my guides get like this, or the beings around me, they'll get really like excited whenever like I'm about to like come into like a contact with someone, or like a puzzle piece is about to click into place. So this must be really important, but also it felt like kind of like you've done enough. Like you've done enough. You've done enough. You don't have to keep giving. So I don't know if somebody like has like ringing in their ear, it could be one of those. It could be like something's happening now, like you're about to be contacted by somebody, or it could be like they want you to like relax, take a break, go easy on yourself. But basically what I just did just now to like cut it off was like I just put like a shield around myself to just cut it off. Shush, be quiet. Hush, be quiet. All right, I'm gonna read it. So it says, she appears beneath the cloak of night, revealing the truth that must be known to set her heart free. She offers you an opportunity to engage in a profound and enduring transformation. Home run. Home run. I've been talking about transformations this whole time. And look at this. This wasn't even supposed to be in this damn deck. And it's talking about transformations. She offers you an opportunity to engage in a profound and enduring transformation. This will lead to a powerful rebirth, free from even the most persistent patterns of pain from your past. I fucking said about patterns. I said that. Your soul is in deep healing. Recovery can be painful, and it has. But that pain is temporary, and you will emerge renewed and released. In time, you will greet your rising destiny from an entirely new and improved inner foundation. You are blessed to experience a new life within this lifetime. The goddess, Galatri, appeared when a warrior violated the rules of law and violently assaulted enemy troops resting under the cover of night. She appeared in a terrible form, making sounds that expressed her horror at the suffering taking place. This is the weeping and wailing Black Madonna. No matter how people try to cover up what is happening, glossing over things with cleverly manipulative words, she is the truth witnessed and laid bare. Didn't I fucking mention manipulation and like using like your looks to like manipulate people? I said that. For those who have been cajoled or coerced to deny their intuition and authentic experience, Galatri breaks through the crazy making and brings us into the truth of what is happening. She brings the relief of truth even when it is difficult to bear. She breaks open toxic systems and reveals decrepit, it says deceptive behaviors. I feel like what's happening here is like there's someone like reading with me. I don't know if that makes sense, but I have this cousin and like she always gets the lyrics wrong to every song. And like I remember growing up being in the car with her and like we'd be singing and she like sing the words like she didn't know the words. And so like it like messed me up that she couldn't get the words right. So I don't know, that's like a line in the song Riptide by Vance Joy, so maybe that's important, but I don't know, maybe somebody's like that. In unmasking the terror of what has happened or is still happening, we become able to disconnect from sources of abuse so we can begin to heal the trauma. That which is not acknowledged can never heal, but is doomed to be repeated. The acknowledgement of Galatri is not an intellectual understanding, but a bone-deep agony of release. That's been me. I've been in agony. Shit has been painful. It is like pulling the thorn out of the lion's paw. It hurts, but it is the way that leads to healing, rather than the hurt that would come from trying to ignore the thorn and dealing with increasingly negative consequences. The name Galatri literally translates as Black Night, a time that is sacred and honored with celebration in the Hindu tradition. It is also an emanation of the goddess Kali herself, in the sense that Kali is our dark night of the soul. In the Hindu scriptures, Galatri is known as the dark night of final dissolution, the formal and absolute ending of something that no longer needs to be. I mentioned that shit, Nanny McPhee. She signifies that there is no going back. She is the spiritual solvent into which we, as we have known ourselves and experienced our agonies, can dissolve. On the spiritual path, to go through a dark night of Galatri is considered a protective and enveloping experience. Here we can be held in a psychic container that allows us to dispense with all we have been working through or are holding on to. It is where we try to figure it out and just let it all go, similar to what happened happens during sleep. During the spiritual sleep of Cagliari, we drop the ego, I mentioned pride, and intellect, and allow for the divine reorganizing and healing power of the sacred feminine to work its restorative magic. Energies are processed and cleared away from her as the cosmic womb. We can then be recreated, reborn. This oracle brings a message of total change, of a need to let go of what has been so that a new form can be established, or can establish itself. There's, who the fuck is talking? There's like someone like talking and like changing the words, and I'm like, it doesn't say can be formed, can be established this way. Like it says this thing. Interrupting me. You will not know what the new form is going to look like, just as you do not know what you will dream of before you go to sleep, nor in what state you will awaken the following day. As you enter into this spiritual sleep, you cannot know all that will happen, yet this is Kali, so we can trust. Sleep only comes when we let go, so too this deep and restorative spiritual surrender can only happen when we are willing to let go of our attachment to what has been. This form of the goddess is said to ward off dark entities, ghosts or spirits, and negative energies as they all flee upon her arrival. The sanctuary of night and all it entails, such as coming face to face with our fears and through that releasing them, is a temple for healing with the goddess. So the many gifts of Cagliari include increased fearlessness and freedom. The oracle guides you to trust in her protection and her promise that under her guiding hand, you shall become all you are destined to be. Okay. My hands are freezing. I always have cold fingers. Very, very cold. Need somebody to warm me up. Okay. Okay, so everybody who this resonated with, I'm sending you all my love. Thank you for being with me on this journey. Thank you for being of service to the collective, to all here and beyond. Thank you for all you do. I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for the thumbs ups and the hearts and the support. Thank you for subscribing. As promised, I'm gonna post a picture with the swans and add my email to the description. I hope you take some time to, like I said, take stock and like really like reflect on like how cool you are. And I love you. I'll see you later. 10:55.